Hiya! Take that, you bastard. What is up, everybody? It's BionicTide here, coming at you with another Diablo 4 video. With the season right around the corner, I know everybody's going to be looking to level up as quick as they can, and one of the ways to do that is to get to the higher world tiers as soon as possible. So today I'm going to be giving you another build, but this time it's going to be a little different. I would not recommend trying to grind or level up past 50 with this build. There is a similar one, but not quite the same. This is made entirely to cheese higher level content than what your character usually could. So it's not the fastest grinder, but it is safe to use against much higher level content. And because of that, we're going to use this to cheese our way through the Capstone Dungeon at only level 30. We will be using it to grind a whole lot later on, because it's just quick and easy, and I will show you the best place to grind, in my opinion. Still hasn't changed, and I feel like it's really overlooked, and people are really missing out. So before we get into the grinding, I'll show you how I clear this capstone dungeon here, and I'll give you a brief overview of the build, but it's not very set in stone. A lot of the armor is just junk. Basically go for anything defensive you can possibly find as far as the affixes on the armor go. And for the aspects, we are using a really particular combination. So let me break that down for you as quick as I can here. Basically, we're going to be using the barrier aspect on the helmet and getting fortify on the legs. Every time we swap our weapons a whole bunch, we'll get some fortify, and that will help a whole lot to keep the barrier up. And then our main hand here, we're going to be dealing extra damage, or rather we're going to be converting a lot of our base damage into bleed damage. And the reason we're going to be doing that is not really so much for the damage itself, although we are doing entirely a damage over time build, but mostly because this aspect here on our chest armor is going to allow us to stun enemies who are bleeding, and that is really important. We don't have to worry too much about enemies fighting back, because with this build we're basically going to keep them CC'd the entire time. This one on our gloves is going to amp up our leap damage and our charge damage, which are basically the main skills that we're going to be using to do all of our damage. So that's really going to come in handy. And what I mean by that is our leap is actually going to be converted into an earthquake that trembles beneath our feet and does damage over time. And we're going to abuse the hell out of that with all of our CCs. So on our boots, we're going to be able to reset our leap with our kick or ground stomp. We're not using ground stomp though. So we do have 2 charges with our kick. So basically we'll be able to leap onto the enemy, create an eruption under their feet, let it rumble for a minute, and only once it completely fades away, otherwise you'll cancel the next one out, we're going to kick them, and then we're going to leap again and restart the damage over time. Once it fades out, we're going to kick them, leap again, restart the damage over time, and really abuse the mechanics to keep them CC'd and keep the damage over time going underneath them. And then our kick itself is going to do a whole lot of extra damage if we can kill the enemy within 2 seconds of kicking them, which we usually will with our earthquake. But that's also going to apply to our charge, which is going to be our other form of CC and our other form of damage. For the other weapons, doesn't really matter what you put on this one. I was trying something out here, but we're going to ignore it because it did not work as well as I had hoped. I was hoping that I could use the Call of the Ancients on my hotbar and then create a second leap every time I leaped to create a second pool of earth, but it will do the leap, it won't do the pool of earth, so don't do that. But the thorns here are going to be really important. Basically, we're going to gain a whole bunch of thorns while berserking. And then berserking is going to be a big part of it too. That's where we're going to get our bleed damage. But I'll show you that in a moment. But when we get the thorns from berserking, we're going to also be able to AoE and spread those thorns around to all the enemies around us, and that's going to work with our skill tree really well for more damage over time. The other ring, we have Overpower, which is just going to give us a lot more damage on our leap because that will stack with the earthquake damage. So going real quickly into the skills, and again for the armor, every piece of armor we can get everything defensive, we'll take it. Whether that's armor, damage reduction from close, just damage reduction, strength to give us more armor, anything we can get. Because our build is not dependent on our damage, it's dependent on our aspects damage. So our damage really doesn't matter. And that's why this works so well to cheese the higher level content. So if you just want a quick pan of the whole skill tree, I'll show you that now, and then I'll quickly run through why we have everything the way we do, because it is a very odd skill tree. So basically our lunging strike is going to be one of our main sources of damage and our main sources of CC. Mostly for CC, we're going to get the enhanced because we have to, but it also heals us, which is nice. And then we're going to get the critical strikes with lunging strike grant you berserking for 1.5 seconds. Because our goal with this build is to always be berserk. So while we're berserk, we're going to be able to stun the enemies with that aspect. So while we're berserk, we're going to bleed the enemies, and then while they're bleeding, we're going to stun them with the aspect. So we want to be berserk all the time so that they're bleeding all the time. We're going to skip over all of the core skills. We're not using any core skills. And we're going to come straight down to the next tree. We're going to get all the extra health, all the extra defense. We're going to add, I don't have any points in there, that's just from my gear. Same with Rallying Cry, I don't have any points in there, that's just from my gear. Same with Iron Skin. But I do have a point into Challenging Shout, and that is so that we can get the extra damage reduction, 44% or whatever. And then the extra life from that, and the extra thorns from that. And thorns are going to be important to us because of this right here. We're going to gain thorns, and then all of our thorns have a chance to bleed enemies as well. And because we're AoEing, that's a whole lot of bleed getting spread everywhere. So basically everything is vulnerable to our stuns. Here comes the really important tree. This is an all brawler build. So we're going to get our kick to reset our leap, but also this is going to be our main vulnerable. So we're going to use this on every elite we see immediately and just keep them pinned against the wall and vulnerable by kicking them over and over. And then if we kick two enemies into each other, they'll get knocked down, which is another nice CC. Warcry we're going to take simply for the berserking. You don't need this extra damage here, but if you got the points, just do it. But the berserk is really what we're wanting out of Warcry, because again, we want the bleed. Going into Booming Voice to make our shouts last longer. And then Raid Leader so that our shouts heal us, because why not get some extra healing? Moving down the tree, we're going to get Charge, because this is again going to, the damage from this will get amped up by our aspect, and mostly we're going to get it because it has a CC on it. If enemies get knocked back into the terrain, they get stunned for 3 seconds, and if we knock them into the terrain, we also reduce the cooldown, so we can pretty much spam this. Same with Leap. We're going to add all of the points we can into, or not all the points, but you know what I mean. We're going to get all the versions of Leap. Enhanced Leap will not really be useful unless you're missing your leaps, which you shouldn't be. But we need Mighty Leap down here for the massive 70% slow on enemies. And again, we're going to be spamming this ability because we're going to reset it with kick and then use it again, then reset it with kick, then use it again. But don't do it too fast because you want to get the full damage from the earthquake underneath. Here we're just taking some extra damage. Eventually you would max these out, but this isn't going to be a full build. I'm just showing you like the level 30 stats on it here because that's pretty much what you're going to use it to do. we're going to skip over all of these, but in the boss fight itself, we will actually swap out our charge for our Wrath of the Berserker. And that's because we're not going to really need the charge a whole lot as much as we're going to need the extra damage during his down phases. We're going to get all three of them because it's the extra damage in Berserk that we really want. And the same thing with the final tree. We want the extra damage while in Berserk. And that's pretty much it for the tree. Let me jump out of here, and we will go inside here, and I will show you how it works. Just a quick heads up here, post-edit. I'm not going to make you sit through the whole dungeon. I will speed up the video a little bit as we transition through the dungeon. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That's really all there is to it. I know the editing I'm going to do on that dungeon, because it was really long, are going to make it seem like it was a lot easier and shorter than it was, but keep in mind, you are still really under-geared, so you need to take it slow and absolutely abuse the mechanics as much as you can. You will probably die a couple times. I know on the boss fight I died quite a few times, but the big thing is you don't have any revive counters like you would in a nightmare dungeon, so just do your best and really just take your time. Going slow and separating the mobs is going to actually make it go a lot faster than trying to speedball through it. But that is it. Next I'll take you over to my favorite leveling spot. I've done the math and it is hands down better than all of the rest. And that's going to be right here on the map, right next to Kaiova Shad. And it is Core Dragon. And I'll explain when we get there on just why that is so good. Alright guys, and we are here at the dungeon. And this entrance on this side here is where you're going to want to start. And I will show you how the dungeon run works, but first what I wanted to mention is why this is so good. All the other dungeons you go to are going to scale with your level, and because we're moving all the way to like World Tier 3 or World Tier 4 in this case, much higher level than our gear is, this is going to allow us to get the maximum benefit of the World Tier extra XP percent without having to face monsters that are way too strong for us. And because it's a stronghold monsters will always stay 3 to 4 levels ahead of your character, which is the exact level that you want to be XPing at for maximum XP. So not only that, but this dungeon, or stronghold rather, actually gives more XP than any dungeon in the game if you only do the part that I'll show you coming up. And what I mean by that is all the other dungeons, what you want to factor in is how much XP you're getting per minute, which includes, you know, exiting the dungeon, logging off, logging back in, going back into the dungeon. And hands down, this one has the quickest reset and the most XP per minute. So we will go straight up in here and I will show you how quickly and how much XP you can get. So we're going to start off at 90814. Okay, remember that? Or you can just look at the bar and remember how much we're at here. We're going to reset our kick. Oh shit, yeah, I kind of goofed that one up. That was my bad. That's fine. We'll just kick them again, you know. And they're dead. I'm gonna charge these assholes over here. We're actually gonna come over here and grab these guys as well so that we can kick them. Start our pool. Come down here. Kick these guys. And again, start our pool here. And that was a really sloppy run, but nonetheless, let's see what we're at now. 143,000, that quick. And now I'm going to show you how the reset works. You literally just click, oops, oh, it's bugging out on me. So you just click leave game. This is a bad example. There it goes. Even with the bug out, it's going to be much quicker. We're going to start game. And we made, what was that, 143? Roughly 50,000 XP. That quick. Probably about a minute. So I'm going to show you some game clips of how quick you really can clear this if you're trying to speed through it. And remember, you can also use your ultimate abilities on your hotbar, and all of your abilities will get reset when you relog as well, which means you'll be able to use your ultimate right away again every time. And there's our level. And through here, kick that dude. Get these guys into the pool. And if you don't kill them right away, just bring them up to here. We'll charge him here. Super easy. I don't know why that's bugging out. There it goes. And just that quickly, we're already almost halfway to our next level as well. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely like, comment, subscribe if you did, or do it if you didn't. I don't care. Helps me out either way. Take it easy. Until next time, peace. You still here, huh? You lost? Oh, I know. You're looking for the website because you wanted some artwork. It's right up at the very top of the page there. No, that wasn't it. Maybe you're looking for the Twitch website. Okay, it's going to be over on the right. The video might have popped up by now, so you might have to rewind. That wasn't it either. Listen, I'm not really sure how to help you. Why don't you join the Discord, rewind the video, and you'll see it right behind the pop-up.